With so much to see and do at Disney Springs, there are definitely some places and things to do that you are definitely not going to want to miss out on, which is exactly why tonight I wanted to talk about the top 10 things to do when visiting Disney Springs. Now, of course, I have my own list here that we're going to be talking about tonight, but if you are watching here live, feel free in the chat to put your favorite things that you like to do when visiting Disney Springs or what you think some of the top things are at Disney Springs in the chat, because I'd love to hear what you have to say and it may be helpful for other viewers to know what to do at Disney Springs. So thank you so much for viewing and watching tonight. And if you aren't familiar with what Disney Springs is, essentially Disney Springs is Disney's dining and shopping area that is on Disney World property. It's a very popular place to visit. The nice thing about it is that it is free. It has free parking, and it's a great place to visit if you are having an off day from the Disney parks, or say on your travel day when you're traveling to or from Disney World. It's a great place to visit where you can go and spend some time with family and friends and do some shopping. So if you are coming in to Disney World and you don't necessarily want to spend money for a full day at the parks, you could definitely go and visit Disney Springs, and it's a great way to have a relaxing day from the parks. So we'll go ahead and get right on into the list here. The first thing that I recommend doing when visiting Disney Springs is visiting the World of Disney store. So as I mentioned, Disney Springs is very popular for all of the shopping that they have at Disney Springs. But one of the best stores that you can visit at Disney Springs is the World of Disney store. Hey, two broke mice. The World of Disney store is really fun because there is so much Disney merchandise that you can find at this store. There is a little bit of everything, and I guarantee if you're looking for some type of Disney souvenir, you can definitely find it there. They have lounge flies, Disney clothing, mugs, household items and decor. There is so much there. And even if you aren't looking to go shop or purchase anything, it's just fun to go and look around and do some sightseeing and see what kind of merchandise they have there. That's one of my favorite things to do, especially looking at the lounge flies. I love doing that. So anytime you are at Disney Springs, I definitely recommend going into the World of Disney store and just see what they have whenever you are visiting Disney Springs. The second thing that I recommend doing is if you are looking for a place to eat at Disney Springs, there are so many restaurants and places to visit. What I recommend is if you're looking for some place that is cheap and affordable, but also quick, I recommend visiting Chicken Guy. Chicken Guy is one of my favorite places to eat at Disney Springs because, like I mentioned, it's cheap, it's affordable, it's a very fast food option, but it's a very high quality type food, if you know what I'm saying. So I enjoy going to Chicken Guy. Hey, that old bald guy, how are you doing? I enjoy Chicken Guy because it's a very convenient place to eat and the food is very good. So they have chicken sandwiches, mac and cheese. My favorite thing to get whenever I am visiting Chicken Guy is the Sauce Boss sandwich. The Sauce Boss sandwich is a chicken sandwich that comes with two of their specialty sauces. Usually I get the buffalo sauce and the chipotle ranch sauce. And I also get the side of mac and cheese. So that is my order for Chicken Guy. And I love it because, as I mentioned, it's an affordable place. It's very quick and convenient. And it's a nice option to go whenever you're at Disney Springs, especially for a family. Hey, Surfer Girl. The third thing I will say when it comes to dining, as I mentioned, there's so many places you can eat at Disney Springs, but if you're looking for a restaurant to eat whenever you are there, I recommend checking out the Chef's Artsmith Homecomin. Now, I will be completely transparent and honest here. I have not actually eaten at this restaurant yet, but the amount of reviews and good things that I have heard about this restaurant, there have been so many things that people have told me that they have enjoyed eating here. And so I would recommend it as a place based on the reviews that I have heard. I've heard they have really great fried chicken. I think it's their mashed potatoes that people also like. So if you are visiting or planning on eating there, definitely look for a reservation before you go so that way you can guarantee a spot to eat there. Also, when it comes to restaurants, if you're looking for restaurants to go to, I have eaten at the Boathouse at Disney Springs. Now that is more of a fancier option, but and a little bit more expensive, but I have had a good experience eating there as well. We've got some chats coming in here. Now, I'm glad that you brought up the Earl of Sandwich because this is another type, like fast foodish type place that I would call it. But I have actually not eaten here at Disney Springs, but I have heard good things as well. So you're saying the holiday turkey is a good sandwich to eat there. So that's a good recommendation as well. I should try that next time I go to Disney Springs because I have not eaten there yet. Probably because I just love Chicken Guy so much. I don't like to stray from the past whenever I have something that I like. So I'll have to try this out next time. Thanks to Rook Mice. And Surfer Girl is saying, Chicken Guy, yes. Blaze is a good place to eat as well. Earl of Sandwich are your favorite. Nice. I love that. And what's better, Chicken Guy or Homecomin? So some people in the comments are going to have to let me know here because I have not had Homecomin chicken yet, but the Chicken Guy chicken is so good. I highly recommend. And oh, you're saying the Cuban sandwich. Okay, so it looks like next time I go to Disney Springs, I'm definitely gonna have to check out Earl of Sandwich. I've heard good things about it, but like I said, I just don't like to stray from the past. So that's why I have not tried it yet. Oh, and you can do quick service. Very nice. So can you order from the My Disney Experience app? Is that something that you can do? That's awesome though. So it's nice and quick. That's the nice thing about Chicken Guy too, is it's very nice and quick and it's not necessarily like a sit down meal, but it's still a nice option to have whenever you're at Disney Springs. So thanks for those comments, guys. That's perfect. Oh, and you can do it on the app. Awesome. Okay, that's perfect. That is really good to know. I did not know that. I think Chicken Guy has a to-go option as well, but you do it through their system, I think. So, but that's all really good to know. Yeah, I know. I need to expand my horizons. It's hard to sometimes, though, when you have something that you know you like. So I'm going to have to check it out next time, though. So we talked about eating and food options and things, but let's talk about some things that you can actually do at Disney Springs. So the fourth thing that I recommend here is either to watch or ride on the Amphicars. Now, there are these boat type cars that are at Disney Springs that are very fun. They take you on a tour around the Lake Buena Vista, I believe it's called, and you do have to pay. I think whenever I checked last. So this is a fun tour that you can take. And what I like to do if you aren't looking to necessarily spend the money to do the tour is you can actually watch the boats come on and off of the lake, which I really enjoy doing. So right beside the Boathouse restaurant, there is the launch for the Amphicars. So you can watch them come on and off of the lake. But there also is this little dock area behind the Boathouse where you can actually have a very good view of the Amphicars taking their tour. You can watch them splash down into the lake. And it's also a really great place to watch sunsets. That's another place I like to go and just check out and relax. So watching the Amphicars is something that's really fun at Disney Springs. I know a lot of people really enjoy it. So definitely go ahead and check that out whenever you are at Disney Springs next. I have also eaten at the Polite Pig. So yeah, I have had the Polite Pig before. There was this platter that we got because there was a lot of us there. So we went to eat at the Polite Pig, which was very good. So that's another option, more of a fast foodish option that you can check out there that I liked. So that we talked about the Amphicars. Now we'll get into a little bit of the shopping that you can do at Disney Springs. And the fifth thing that I recommend you do is to visit a non-Disney related store. So that sounds a little bit funny, but at Disney Springs, they actually have stores that are not necessarily affiliated with Disney. So some of my favorite stores that I like to go to when at Disney Springs are the Kate Spade store, the Vera Bradley store, there's a Columbia store, and I also like the Lego store that's there. But what's nice is at these stores, you can find typical items that you would find at a mall or another location that you may visit for these stores. But what I also really like is that at these stores, they have Disney themed collections at times. So Vera Bradley is a store that always comes out with Disney patterns. They just had a Star Wars pattern, a Ariel themed pattern or a Little Mermaid pattern. But I really like going there because it's really fun to look at the different collections that they have And it's also a chance for you to go and shop at some of your favorite brands, but also have a little bit of Disney style added to them. So that's one thing that I really like to do, is to shop around at some of the stores that they have and see some of the Disney collections that are there. I know Columbia a couple of months ago had this really fun hiking Mickey collection that I was able to get a raincoat of. So I really enjoy doing that, and that's just a fun thing to do whenever you're at Disney Springs. The sixth thing that I recommend, if there are any people here that have a sweet tooth, I have got you set for some sweet treats that you must try. There are so many fun things to check out at Disney Springs whenever it comes to dessert options, but two of my favorite things to eat whenever at Disney Springs as far as sweets go are visit Gideon's Bakehouse and the Ghirardelli factory. So I like going to Gideon's Bakehouse and getting the cookies that they have there. They have these large cookies that you can get, and they also have cakes and coffees. I have not tried the coffee yet, but I really would like to. The cookie that I like to get is the cookies and cream cookie, and then I also enjoy getting the regular chocolate chip cookie. I'm going to stop real quick and look at the chat here. Yes, I love visiting the Vera Bradley store and the purple Disney snacks. I've seen that crossbody. That is I really love that pattern. That's awesome. Allowed to go to the Vera Bradley store only after, yes, that is probably the best thing to do. I know whenever I go there, I go and I get some videos or whatever or get to just go and look at the items, and then I have to scurry on out because it can get very dangerous very quickly in those stores. So, hey, Princess Tessa. But actually, Surfer Girl here, we'll hop to Ghirardelli now, and then we'll get back to Gideon's, because you actually are talking about the exact sundae that I love to get whenever at the Ghirardelli factory. Now, what you can get at the Ghirardelli is there's sundaes and ice cream cones that you can get there, but I love getting the Land's End sundae. It is a brownie caramel sundae that comes with two big brownies, and then a lot of ice cream. And they are a little bit more expensive, but I definitely recommend sharing because they are very large sizes. So that is what I recommend when going to the Ghirardelli factory. It is so good. I highly recommend checking it out if you're looking for some type of ice cream or sundae dessert. And then getting back to the Gideon's Bakehouse, it's a very popular place to visit at Disney Springs. People love their cookies there. I mentioned the cookies that I like to get, but they have the cold brew and they have cakes as well. Personally, I thought the cakes were okay. They definitely weren't bad, but they weren't anything super amazing. Their icing was very good, but I definitely recommend the cookies 100%. They are so good when going there. I have not had the milkshakes at Ghirardelli, or I don't think they have them at Gideon's, but I haven't had the milkshakes yet, but anything there sounds very good. So that's another thing that you could check out. So now this is making me so hungry for some type of sweet. But the seventh thing that you should do is another type of experience that you can do at Disney Springs, and that is to either watch or ride on the Aerophile. Now, the Aerophile is a hot air balloon type experience at Disney Springs. Now, it's actually tethered to a cord, so it only goes a certain amount of feet up in the air. But it's really neat because it gives you kind of a nice aerial view of Disney Springs, probably of Disney property. You can probably see some of the parks in the distance. But what I like to do, I just like to go and just watch it, see people go up and do their little tour, and then also just get a good view of it. Whenever you're watching the Amphicars behind the boathouse, you can also get a really good view of it as well. And it's really beautiful at the sunset, as I mentioned before. So that's just another little experience and thing you can do whenever you're at Disney Springs. Let's see. So Two Broke Mice, you agree about the cakes too? Yeah, my mom got, I think it was a chocolate cake, and it was good, but the icing was probably the best part of it. Personally, we thought, but the cakes we thought were pretty standard whenever it came to that. So thank you everybody for the chats. Hey, thanks Matt for hopping in. So now we'll hop on to the eighth thing here that you should do when visiting Disney Springs. And we're going to talk about some must visit shops whenever you're at Disney Springs. So As I mentioned, Disney Springs is very well known for the shopping that they also have around Disney Springs property, but there are so many shops that you can visit whenever you're there. You can definitely visit for a whole day, but there are a lot of shops that I recommend you check out if you only have a certain amount of time when you're at Disney Springs. So the first thing that I highly recommend is visiting the Christmas shop. No matter what time of year you visit, I highly recommend checking out the Christmas shop because I love going and seeing all of the Disney ornaments that are there. It's a great souvenir to get for family and friends or just for yourself to have a reminder and a memory of your trip that you can put on your tree each year. So I really enjoy going and visiting the Christmas shop. I think it is such a fun thing to do. And you are asking, have you ever watched a movie at Disney Springs? So that's another thing that you can do. There actually is an AMC movie theater that is there, and I have never watched one there before, but I would like to. If I could have, I would have probably watched the new Doctor Strange movie there, but instead I watched it whenever I went home. But you can go and watch movies there, which is also a fun thing to do. Yeah, the Christmas shop is very fun. That's one of my favorite stores that are actually at Disney Springs. And another store that I recommend checking out is the Once Upon a Toy store. So it's basically what it says. It has a bunch of Disney toys that are in there, but it's really fun just to go and check out, see some of your favorite Disney characters that have toy or play sets. And also, it is a really good store to go and find hidden Mickeys in. I have a hidden Mickey scavenger hunt book, and there are so many hidden Mickeys in that store. So that's another thing that you can check out whenever you're actually in that store. And then if you're looking for cute Disney clothes, I recommend checking out the Trend store. It's TREN-D. It's the Trend store. There are really cute tops and purses and things there. And then also the Disney Style store is also a really fun store that you can visit. I also saw on TikTok the other day, at the Disney Style store, there actually is a place that you can go and you can customize a t-shirt for yourself. So you can figure out the color of the t-shirt that you want, and then you can actually put the logo that you want on the t-shirt. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing to check out, but those are two great stores for cute Disney clothes that you may want to have on your trip or as a memory of your trip. And then another place that I like to visit is the Marketplace Co-op. This is a fun place. They have a lot of the 50th anniversary vault merch there right now. There's also a huge orange bird that's there that you can get a picture of. The cart for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is also there that they have, but they have a lot of Disney artwork there. You can find some Disney dresses. So those are some of my favorite stores that I like to check out whenever I'm actually at Disney Springs. And then let me see the chat really quick. Yeah, I love the Christmas store is one of my favorites. Yeah, oh, and that's another, so the Art of Disney store is also a really neat one. So way back in the back of Disney Springs where the Christmas store is at, there is the Art of Disney store. And I like seeing that store because there is a lot of really neat Disney art that's in there. And yes, I could see how you could get into a lot of trouble because there are a lot of really amazing pieces that are there. Sometimes, one time that I went in there, they actually had an artist that was doing some art while live that you could go and watch. So that's another fun thing that you can check out there. But I definitely agree. That's a very dangerous store that you can go into. And, oh, the pencil sketches. Yes, I like that. All right. And the ninth thing that I recommend checking out, we talked about a lot of experiences and things that you can do at Disney Springs. But another thing that I like to do is to watch some performances that they have there. So it's really fun because they have stages and like some amphitheaters around Disney Springs that they actually bring live performers in that are usually live music oriented. But I really enjoy going and just sitting and having a relaxing evening there. It's a great thing to do. There's one in front of the World of Disney store, and there's one kind of beside the boathouse. So this is great if you get your treat or dessert or some type of dinner and you want to go and have a show while you are eating. this is a really fun thing to do where you can watch some of the live music that they have going on at Disney Springs. And it's really fun too, because some of the live music that they bring in, I think they probably bring in weekly. There are some of the same artists. And so I have seen the one time that I went to go and watch it, there were actually a lot of locals and people that usually go to Disney Springs that were down in front doing dances that I guess they do every week, or different types of routines that they have. So it was kind of funny to watch that and to see them dance, but they also welcome other people that maybe haven't been there before to come and watch and to dance. So that's just another fun little thing to do at Disney Springs. As I keep saying, there's so much to do there, but just going and watching a show is just another fun little thing to do whenever you are visiting there. And so Princess Tessa, the store that sells tiaras, where is that one at? Is that the one that has the very expensive, like, crystal Cinderella's castle? I think I'm trying to think where that one's at. I think it's kind of behind the World of Disney, but yes, there are a ton of photo ops that you can get at Disney Springs, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because there actually is a Photopass spot that you can go to at Disney Springs. There is like this little photo booth, or I don't know, this building that they have two backdrops where you can actually get photos through the Photopass system. So if you have paid for the Photopass service whenever you're on your visit, you can go to this location. It's right beside the World of Disney store, I believe. And it's fun because you can get a picture with your family, your friends, and they'll actually put Disney related backgrounds behind you, and they'll put you in fun poses and do different magic shots. So that's a really fun thing to check out if you are a part of the Photopass service and you have that. Whenever I went last, they did a fun Encanto background, and then they have a fun castle background to put behind you. So that's also a fun thing to do whenever you're at Disney Springs. I'm glad you brought that up. And near the co-op building. Yes, it's in between near the co-op building. You're right. Yeah, perfect. And the 10th and final thing that I recommend doing is to walk along some of the bridges at Disney Springs. Now, I actually have a map from Disney Springs, and I would recommend picking one up if you've never been to Disney Springs, because it can be kind of hard to navigate a little bit because there is so much there. But what I do recommend is to walk on some of these bridges. And the one that I particularly want to point out is the one that will show you what I think really gives Disney Springs its name. It is this artificial blue spring that Disney has inside of the Disney Springs. And it's really neat. It's right, let me see if I can show you here. So there is this walkway here, and then this walkway here. It is kind of in between. I think there's either an Under Armour store or there's a Blaze Pizza or something. But basically, I wanted to point this out because it is something that you can really overlook very easily. Hey, Main Street Explorers. And it's a great place to go and see this beautiful artificial blue spring that Disney has created inside of Disney Springs. It's also a really great photo opportunity place that I really like to go to for photos, but also just like to look. And it also connects either side of Disney Springs, because Disney Springs is quite large, as you can see here, but it connects kind of the whole like circle of Disney Springs here. I'm not even pointing to the right place, but it kind of connects it, which is really nice. So I recommend checking that out. As I mentioned, behind the boathouse is a really fun place to check out and see nice scenery. They have some boats behind there as well. And then there's also a bridge that you can walk on, and you can see this huge Lego dragon that's by the Lego store. So there are so many fun things that you can do at Disney Springs, and I definitely recommend checking that out as well whenever it comes to finding fun photo opportunities, but also just kind of exploring Disney Springs in a little bit more detail. So if you're looking for maps at Disney Springs, most often they usually have them whenever you're coming down from the escalators from the parking garages. So that's where I usually get my maps for Disney Springs. Right when you come down, there's usually maps that they have out there, at least in the times that I have gone. And then they also have them probably at the guest relations. And then they also have, I think, like a customer service building that you can go to. So there are these maps, they have them, these are the 50th ones that they have, but yeah, that's where you can go and find the maps. What I found with the map is sometimes it's a little hard to figure out what places are because they have everything numbered, and then they have everything categorized as like toys and shopping, serious shopping is what is up here, jewelry and accessories, beauty and health, unique attractions and experiences. So it can be a little bit difficult to figure out what is on the map even, but it's still something nice to have. And I like collecting them because it's just a nice little memento for me to remember some trips by and look back on. So yes, so Matt, you're asking about the gourmet cookies. We talked about Gideon's earlier. I didn't mention the one thing about Gideon's that you'll want to know about is sometimes they do have a virtual queue for Gideon's. So what happens with that, usually for if you've experienced virtual queues at Disney World, you can kind of enter in on the My Disney Experience app. But for Gideon's, you actually have to be there in person to enter into the virtual queue. At least in my experience, that's what I have had to do. And the line can be quite long to actually go to Gideon's. If they have a standby wait time, I've waited about a half hour to get cookies. It's not unheard of to wait in a line that's like an hour long. And sometimes with the virtual line, you'll have to wait an hour or a couple of hours before they even call you to get into the line to go into Gideon's. So that's something that you'll want to think about is definitely budget time if you're wanting to go to Gideon's. It's definitely worth it. I highly recommend it. But spend or budget a little bit of time for that because you won't want to miss out on that, and you'll want to make sure that you have that like budgeted out in your time frame. But yes, I really enjoy the gourmet cookies at Gideon's, and I have not tried it yet, but there's also Everglaze. It's like a donut shop. That's another place that you can go to that I haven't tried that I really should branch out and try. And yes, they have the Lego sculptures that they have. They're really fun to get pictures with. I know they're a very popular thing. The Lego dragon that's in like the little lagoon inside of Disney Springs is always there, but they switch out the sculptures routinely. They have a Frozen one now and then like Star Wars ones now. So they kind of switch them out. So that's a fun thing to also like look forward to and see what kind of sculptures that they're going to have. And okay, so you can get park maps at guest relations. Yes, for souvenirs. Yes, that's perfect. And the peanut butter coffee is so yummy. So that is good to know because I have not tried their coffee yet. I really want to try the cold brew at Gideon's, but I have not had the chance to do that yet. So that's one thing that I definitely want to do eventually whenever I go back to Gideon's again. So thank you all very much for watching the stream tonight. I appreciate all of the input that you gave in the chat as well of things to do at Disney World or at Disney Springs. As you notice, there are so many things that you can do when visiting Disney Springs, but these are my top 10 and what I definitely love to do whenever visiting. So thank you so much again. I'm going to leave for the replay. There is going to be a video here that is going to show you some things that you should expect whenever going to Disney Springs, and then also a walkthrough that I have done when visiting Disney Springs. So thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your trip to Disney Springs, and we will see you guys in the next video. See you guys.